welcome back to Top of the Line. I'm Nick Lynch.
And I'm Ben Heltzer.
On this episode today, we will be covering Week 5 of the NFL, including the Bears getting their first win, the Niners continuing their dominance, our picks for Game of the Week, and more. So let's get into it. So, Ben, the Bears get their first win on prime time. It's also their first win in the season, so how do you think the Bears played that game?
I mean, I think they played great. I mean, Justin Fields, he proved a lot of people wrong. DJ Moore played outstanding, 230 yards. And, I mean, if the Bears keep playing like this, I think they can make a comeback and maybe even, make a push for the playoffs.
I mean, it seemed like the whole night the Bears were just running the Commanders. I think it shocked a lot of fans at the stadium and a lot of fans around the country watching. And, everyone had the Commanders winning who started the season 2-0. And now they're 2-3, I believe. Yeah, they're 2-3. But, it's just shocking with that game.
Yeah, and I mean, the Bears, they got the Vikings next week at home without Justin Jefferson, so that's a great opportunity to win that game and get out of last place in the division. So let's see if they can do it.
All right. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, they continue their London winning streak, this time against the Buffalo Bills. But with the Jaguars, they won one game here in America, and then they win 2 games in the UK. So how do you think that game went?
I mean, I think it went great for the Jags. Obviously, they've been in London for that whole week, and the Bills just came out flat. They were lethargic in the first half. They eventually got their offense going in the second half, but it was just too late. And, I mean, even with all the turnovers, all the forced fumbles on Trevor Lawrence, it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, and the Bills, they also had some key injuries on defense. It seemed like play after play that defensive players were getting injured for Buffalo. And,
Yeah, and I mean, Matt Milano out for the year now. That's a huge loss for them, especially with Tre'Davious White already out for the year. Dane Jackson went down. Greg Rousseau didn't play. So, I mean, if that Buffalo defense can stay healthy, they're definitely one of the best in the league, but it's just a matter of can they stay healthy.
Yeah, the good news is the Bills have the Giants on Sunday Night Football for Sunday. But, all right, the next thing we're going to talk about, the 49ers. They continue their dominance against the Cowboys with a win on Sunday Night Football. So how do you think that game went?
I mean, the 49ers are just incredible. I mean, I look at their team and I can't find a hole. I mean, Brock Purdy's great. McCaffrey's the best running back in the league. Their receiver core is great. George Kittle's one of the best tight ends in the league. Their front seven's amazing. Linebackers are amazing. And secondary's, good as well. So I think the 49ers are as good as any team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, but going back to that Sunday night game, when they played the Cowboys, everyone thought, this is going to be the game of the season. This game is going to be tight. And the 49ers, they just went into it with no sweat. Like, it was a blowout win for the 49ers when everyone thought it was going to be a close game.
Yeah, and I think that just speaks volumes to their defense. I mean, Dak threw 3 picks, and their defense held them to, I think, 10 points the whole game, and I mean, it was bad, and the 49ers are looking really, really tough right now.
Yeah, I mean, the 49ers, they just wanted that game more than Dallas did. The Cowboys, they thought, it was going to be a walk in the park for them in San Francisco when really they ran into a lot of problems.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm excited to see what the 49ers and Cowboys do the rest of the season.
All right, so changes at the top of many divisions. With the first-place Detroit Lions in the NFC North and many other changes in that division. The Packers lose again. The Bears are 1 game behind them now, and Minnesota and Chicago are tied for last place.
Yeah, I mean, Week 5 definitely mixed up the standings in a lot of divisions, especially in the AFC. I mean, you got the Dolphins taking back first place after a Bills loss, and the Jets taking 3rd place from the Patriots after a win in the Patriots loss. And then in the South, the Jags and the Colts both jump in front with wins, and the Texans and Titans fall behind with losses. And then in the North, the Steelers have taken first place by beating the Ravens. So it's anyone's guess as to how those divisions will shake out, but I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, that AFC North division is probably one of the most interesting divisions we have this season. But in the NFC South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got some breathing room. From the Atlanta Falcons' last 2 losses, even though they won over the weekend. But Carolina still winless, and then New Orleans, even though they beat the Patriots, they haven't looked great with their new quarterback Derek Carr.
Yeah, and I mean, that division's like oddly competitive. Everyone thought the Saints were just going to run away with it, but the Falcons and Bucks are not as bad as we thought they were, and they're putting up a fight, and I wouldn't be shocked if either of those teams take the division.
Yeah, with the Falcons, for Desmond Ridder, he has not lost a home game yet in his career, so I'm interested to see how that plays out. All right, so our picks for Game of the Week. So, Ben, what's your Game of the Week?
I mean, my Game of the Week has to be the first game on Sunday, the London game. I mean, Buffalo, they went down early, but they made it a game at the end, and it was a great game to watch, especially with all of the turnovers on defense. And, I mean, even with many players on the Bills' defense going down, they were still able to make it a game. And even though they did end up losing, it was a great win for the Jags, and it was a great game overall.
Yeah, I mean, for my Game of the Week, there was a lot of good games this weekend, but I think I might have to go with Houston and Atlanta, maybe for Game of the Week. The Falcons won it on a game-winning field goal. The defense, actually, both defenses played great for that game. So yeah. Yeah,
I mean, it was a game that no one expected to be like that great, but it ended up being one of the best of the week. Atlanta, as you said, won on a game-winning field goal. Stroud still played well, and I think the Texans will bounce back definitely, and I'm excited to see how the Falcons take this win and run with it. But, yeah, that was definitely a great game to watch.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have, so we're going to see you next week. But don't go anywhere, because after this, Matt and Noah will be covering all things college football, so stay right here.
Hello, welcome back to Top of the Line. And wow, what a week of college football that was. Noah, you were wrong with your predictions. I'm sorry, but I mean, what a game it was, though. My biggest takeaway from the game was how opportunistic Oklahoma's defense was. I mean, two interceptions and 5 sacks were the difference of the game. What caught your eye, Noah?
Yeah, so I definitely think Oklahoma played such a great game, but it's unacceptable, the turnovers on offense for Texas. Coming into this game, a top 4 team in college football, you just can't be letting that happen, because if they pick up the momentum again and they go to the college football playoffs, it's unacceptable having all those takeaways in one game. That's going to cost you a game and cost you your season.
Yeah. A lot of top teams took care of business, but there are 2 scores that stood out in my mind. Alabama got a huge win at Texas A&M. It is way too early to rule Alabama out of title contention, and this win is a huge step for Saban's team. The other notable outcome was USC needing overtime to beat Arizona. That was almost a disaster, and that defense was an issue. What was your biggest takeaway from this weekend?
So I definitely think Alabama is not out of title contention whatsoever. But I like how Texas A&M stood their ground in that matchup. Very close game. Down to the final minutes of the game. Alabama's looked good since their loss versus Texas. What really stood out to me is how Michigan is still taking dominance over every team offensively and defensively. I think they won 51-13 or so. Defensively just looking amazing. Offensively, still pushing the pedal to the metal.
Next week, we have an enormous Pac-12 matchup with 2 undefeated teams. Oregon and Washington have a ton of implications in the national title picture. Who do you got this week, Noah?
So I think both these teams are amazing. Oregon has taken out every top team in the Pac-12 they faced, like Colorado. I think they faced another team and they got them out of there. But I'm going to go with the hot take for this week. I'm going to go with Michael Penix Jr. in Washington. I feel as if that offense is just way too dynamic for Oregon to handle, and it's going to cause a bunch of problems.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that game. Well, that wraps up the week for college football, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, Rocco and Noah will give you the latest news on wrestling.
Hello and welcome back to Top of the Line. My name is Noah Mueller.
My name is Rocco Coppola.
And today we'll be discussing WWE Fastlane, the premium live event that occurred this past Saturday. So without further ado, let's get ready to rumble. So, Rocco, in the opening match at WWE Fastlane, we saw new undisputed tag team champions Cody Rhodes and main event Jey Uso taking down the Judgment Day. It seems as if after that match there was a lot of friction between Priest and the Judgment Day. What do you think is going on there, and how do you like the match?
Well, I mean, I like the match, honestly. It was a great kickoff to the show. But my problem with this match is, well, I don't have a problem with Cody and Jey winning the tag titles. My problem with this is now, I thought Jey splitting up from Jimmy was supposed to start his solo run. And I'm not sure where Cody Rhodes goes from here as a tag team champion again. But there's the problem when you don't think ahead of the storyline. Because now I don't know what Cody's going to do. We're heading into, what's the next pay-per-view?
Crown Jewel, November 4th.
I think Crown Jewel, and then gotta think Survivor Series is
Yeah.
right around the corner. Okay, so here's where I think Cody and Jey are gonna need to drop the titles very fast. I'm not saying there's gonna drop it to the Judgment Day, but there's a lot of friction in the Judgment Day, like you were saying. I think Damian Priest is gonna be on his way out really soon of the Judgment Day, and I don't think that they want him to cash in. Why do you think Rhea Ripley stopped him from cashing in against Seth Rollins? So we'll get into later on. But the problem with this is, like, are you going to make Priest cash in and win or not? Are you going to turn him face? Is he going to lose the briefcase? Was all this for nothing?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the main goal was to be able to put Cody on SmackDown to see Roman, but I don't really know where they go from here, honestly.
Yeah, I'm sure Triple H has a plan.
Yeah. So, in our second match, it was a six-man tag match between the new and improved Hurt Business with the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley against the LWO and the return of Carlito. Rocco, what did you think of the return, and what did you think of the match overall?
I love the return of Carlito. I never got to watch him growing up, but in the short time in the old film that I have watched of him, Carlito's awesome, so funny. I got to be honest, they ruined his return by changing his theme song. Yeah. Like, I don't understand why you're changing the theme song. Def Rebel's been okay with the theme song for the last year and a half or so, but why change Carlitos? I was expecting I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. That's what everybody expects to hear at every theme song, but no. Just some weird rock music. Not even, I don't even know what it was. But the problem with this is, like, it taints Carlito's return because that's the only thing that's thinking in the back of your head. Other than that, the new Hurt Business looks great. Bobby, the Street Profits, I love what they're doing. They need to get some wins, though, because here's the thing. Kind of looks like they're getting a little bit buried, even after that real heel turn that we saw on Friday. So, I got nothing else to say on that.
I think the match overall was just a very, bland match. The return kind of saved it, and the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley looked great. So, in our third match, halfway through the pay-per-view, we got the triple threat women's title match for the WWE Women's Championship between the champion Io Sky, Charlotte Flair, and Asuka. I feel as if this was a very, very good match for comparing this to SummerSlam. What did you think of it, and what do you think of the outcome?
I think you could argue this was match of the night, at least, in the top three. But I wouldn't go that far, but we'll see. Fastlane had a lot of good matches, and this is just one of them. The triple threat match was really fun to watch. I love the way that Charlotte Flair actually took a pinfall for once. Isn't that something? And now with this, you have a real opportunity to make Io Sky into a bigger superstar in the company and around the world. There's a lot more opponents that are going to happen. I could see another one-on-one match with Asuka. I could see possibly a returning Kairi Sane take on the title. Or, take on Io Sky for the title. But I love Io Sky, what she's doing in the ring, and she's just awesome. You could argue she's the best women's wrestler in the world right now, and I wouldn't flame you if you thought that, because she's really good in the ring, and it's really just incredible to see how she was nearly out of the company, and now she's come back, and she's the women's champion. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was also really great for me to see they finally giving Bayley the opportunity to make a positive impact on that match. So, in our fourth match, we have L.A. Knight and John Cena going up against the Bloodline, Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa, in a pretty good tag team match, I'd say, with L.A. Knight taking the pin over Jimmy Uso on a BFT. Rocco, what did you think of this match, and what do you think of the push L.A. Knight's getting right now?
Man, I'm at a loss for words at how big of a megastar LA Knight has really become. I can't stress this enough on the past two shows that we've had, but LA Knight is just really that good. And you see John Cena even let him take the pinfall, and LA Knight looked good in the ring. It looked really good. I'm glad Solo didn't take the pin. I'd much rather Jimmy take it. But yeah, Solo Sikoa, he's still continuing to get better, and you like to see him. I want to see him talk a little more, but that's something for another day. But LA Knight, I think he's really cementing himself in the main event title picture. Who knows? Maybe he takes on Roman Reigns really soon. Maybe he goes after a mid-card title. I don't know. I love what I'm seeing out of LA Knight, and it's always good to see John Cena coming back.
Yeah, I definitely think we're getting Knight Roman at Survivor Series. So in our final match in our main event of the night for the World Heavyweight Championship, we had the champion Seth freaking Rollins against Shinsuke Nakamura. Their second meetup, their first one since Payback. I feel like this was easily the best match of the night and arguably a match of the year, I'd say. What do you think of how this story has evolved, how Shinsuke's character has evolved, and overall just a match?
I mean, if you didn't think this was match of the night or at least a contender for match of the year, you're a clown. That's just period. This match was a lot of what we saw against Brock versus Roman at SummerSlam a year ago. Well, except the ring didn't get flipped. But anyways, it was always fun to see a last man standing match in the past, and now to see it finally come back again. Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura, literally tore the house down. And it's awesome to see how Seth Rollins, here's the thing, I'm not going to lie, I'm really not liking the way that he's selling his back injury. If Shinsuke Nakamura, I'm fine with Seth retaining. He's good for the business. He's great for the business, actually. But here's the thing where it loses me, man. If you're going to have Shinsuke Nakamura talk all that smack, lose another world title match, and you get him to just destroy Seth Rollins' back to where Seth can't even walk, but yet Seth Rollins has more plot armor than Batman, and he's still winning these matches. I don't get it, and I thought Damian Priest was going to cash in, so I love the match. Just I feel like it's not even the ending was disappointing. It's just after the match is disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, the match was great. Just the after the fact, Shinsuke not winning and then no cash in was just very disappointing to me, especially after Rollins got absolutely beat up. And I really like this character development from Shinsuke Nakamura. I feel like this is the Shinsuke we've always wanted to see ever since he entered WWE. And I wanted to add a little bonus here, Rocco. I don't know if you watched, but the press conference after Fastlane, Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes on the press conference was absolutely hilarious. The way they were just answering questions was just... What do you think of it?
Yeah, you gotta love it. Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, they definitely got good chemistry as a tag team and as friends. They both belong in the main event scene, and I think that's best for the business. Cody Rhodes, biggest babyface in the professional wrestling industry right now. But main event Jey Uso is just that guy. I think he's set up for a lot of success. I wouldn't be opposed if Jey Uso took the title off of Gunther, because that's really the only candidate I see to take him off the title. Him and maybe Solo Sikoa, but that's about it. And really just awesome to see. I really, really, really cannot wait for Cody Rhodes' next encounter with Roman Reigns, who returns this Friday.
Yeah, I know you had to announce that one, but I feel like that's definitely going to be a great rematch. So that'll be all for us here on this WWE Fastlane segment on Top of the Line. Next up, Andrew and Marco will discuss the Premier League on Top of the Line.
Hello, I'm Rocco Baldino.
And I am Andrew Mirzaaghasi.
And we will be covering this week's games of the Premier League.
So the Premier League, Week 8, we would have 6 victories and 4 ties, with only 2 red cards this week, coming from Bosoma in Tottenham when he opposingly stepped on a player, which he had a yellow card already, which another yellow card equals a red card, so he was out of that game. The other red card comes from Mario Lima from the Wolves by grabbing onto another player to get the ball.
He has no intention to play the ball. So, grabbing player, I think that deserves to be a red card. There's no intention to play the ball, just grabbing the other player.
Yeah, we can go with that. Another loss for Manchester City, 0-1 against Arsenal. This is the second loss in a row for them. Man City would try to score, however, they were no match for the defense for Arsenal.
Yeah, I feel like Man City had their chances. They could put away 1 or 2 goals. But Martinelli, the substitute, comes on and then scores the winner for Arsenal. And you can see after the game, the manager, Pep Guardiola, just in shock, like Man City lose again for the second time in a row, which puts Manchester City in 3rd place and out of 1st place, which is shocking.
It is very shocking. So we would have Man United win against Brenton by the last minute goals, 2 of them coming from the 93rd minute and the 97th minute in the game by McTominay.
Yeah, Scott McTominay is the hero of this game for scoring 2 goals in extended time, and just in the last seconds of the game, he scores the winner. It's just really incredible to see.
So, what do you get for from a game that gets an own goal, a penalty shot, and 2 regular goals?
If I got those goals, I mean, a goal's a goal. I'll take any goal to win a game.
Well, these goals come from this week's most goals scored, Chelsea versus Burnley, with Chelsea winning 4-1.
Yeah, it's good to see Chelsea win and score this many goals. I don't think they have done that this season, but it's good to see them win, even though it's against Burnley. But hopefully they'll bring this motivation into like more games in the future.
Yeah, anything can happen. We
Yeah.
can say that. Yeah. So stands this week we have a tie for first place. Tottenham and Arsenal with 20 points. Man City in third place with 18 points. Liverpool in fourth place with 17 points, and a tie for fifth place. Aston Villa and Brighton.
And you see Man City dropped to third place again. And now Arsenal and Tottenham, the rival team, at first. And who knows, maybe Tottenham could win their first ever Premier League, but we'll see how this happens in the more games coming up.
Anything is possible in
Anything
the Premier
is.
League this season. That's all for today's episode on Top of the Line. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next time.